Well, good evening everybody, welcome to the DDMM YouTube channel. Hope you're all doing very, very well. Welcome to another round of the 2021 Legends of Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship, round 8 of this new season. Or actually no, not new season now, we're very much in the middle part of this season. It still feels quite new though, all of this iRacing streaming business. But yes, it is round 8, and what a circuit to be at this evening. We are at the home of the British Grand Prix, arguably the home of motor racing, Silverstone Circuit in Northamptonshire. Glorious conditions here in mid-July, just what you want at this time of year for some fantastic racing on the full Grand Prix circuit. It is the third round of our mini-series of the front-wheel drive Legends, which means the return of the Audi RS3 TCR. My name is Andrew Mather. The other half of DDMM is about 25 miles or so away from me in DDM Outpost, Long Lawford. Good evening, Mr. Howard Mitchell.
Good evening, Mr. Andrew Mather. It is one heck of a social distance, isn't it? 25 miles, but done it we have. Possibly for the last, hopefully for the last time. But hello, everybody. Good evening to you all. Thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, indeed, as you say, mate, the home of British motorsport, and another one of the tracks that is on the calendar for its second season of Legends in a row.
Yeah.
Here at Silverstone.
Yeah, we had one of our races here last year, race evenings in the Mazdas. As you say, it's the Audis tonight. For what could be a really key round in terms of championship. It's not the biggest field that we've had so far this season, but it's still a high quality one, and there'll be some drivers looking to take advantage of the points on offer here this evening. Right, well, I think, Howard, if I'm right in saying, we are mere moments away from qualifying. It is the standard format.
We are, yes. Shall we have a quick look at where things stand?
Yeah.
Coming into this evening, just as they're beginning to head out. So Michael Preston still at the head of this one on the 672. We are going to still do a bit of work, I think, to refine this table as we get towards the sharp end of this season, because obviously with the drop scores and the various different sub-championships, and Tom Banks still there in third, but of course the story of the last few rounds has been it got to the point now where you can't tell he missed round 1. They're in 6th place. It's overall of 585. It's going to be interesting to see how things get along this evening. I think I'm right in saying that he didn't win the last time we were out in these TCRs, I seem to recall. So that could be an interesting one. It's actually been a while since we've been out in these Audis. Class 2 currently led by Andrew Dawson, but it's nice and tight in those Class 2 rankings. Matt Hale, Chris Hansen. Some big moves actually from the last round, mate, because it was another round where the turnout, obviously, as the weather's improved a bit, and you know, happy to say restrictions lift as well. You know, we've had perhaps a couple of lean rounds, and it means that those who have been putting in the dedication and coming along to the races have moved quite significantly. So that's a really interesting aspect to keep an eye on as we go through these summer months, I think.
Absolutely. Good review there. Apologies for a couple of errors there. Streamlabs was having a moment, but I do think we've got Howard back in full voice now. Qualifying is underway, 10 minutes. So I think we can cut across soon to the on-track action. As ever, drivers have 2 flying laps, and they should beware as well. Of course, any off-tracks or spins will result in their lap times being deleted. In fact, I learnt that the harsh way. The very first event kind of hosted event I ever did was around Silverstone. It was the WTF1 charity event where I threw myself in with about 2 days practice on iRacing in a Ferrari GT3, and it went very, very well. Absolutely well. Mike Hart on circuit. Very intrigued, Howard, to see how Mike does tonight, because the last time we had these Audis out to play, I want to say was Imola, and he had a very good showing there, and is a real force in these front-wheel drive vehicles.
He is, and I think it is going to be interesting to see how he gets on this evening. I'm going to, do you know what, we're only a few minutes in, I'm going to have to correct myself. Josh Ladd did win when we were at Imola with these, didn't he?
He did indeed.
So he has proven himself to be successful in these vehicles. But yeah, Mike Hart has been unquestionably strong in this machinery. I mean, he's been strong throughout the year, but yeah, seems to really like these TCR vehicles. I seem to recall he was strong at Okayama when we were there for round 1 of this front-wheel drive series of rounds. So going to be interesting today.
Good evening to Michael Preston, who's got in touch on the chat. Great to have you with us, Michael. He has a very valid excuse, and this is you're making me feel old here, Michael. Michael not racing tonight. He's working on Formula Student, so I imagine there is a flurry of activity going on then down at Southampton University, getting ready for Formula Student UK, which will be here at Silverstone in a week's time. Don't be scared, folks. You can do it. I've been there myself, although I have to admit that is now 10 years ago. That is 10 years since I was in this position thinking, oh no, it's British Grand Prix week, which means we've got 1 week to go to get our little motor running.
Yeah, it's a strange inversion one goes through in Formula Student when you've been, probably as a kid, enjoying the British Grand Prix all your life, and then suddenly it becomes a marker that time is up.
Yeah. Well, half of Double Dash Motorsport Media will be there for another bumper day, 2 Sundays' time. We will be, well, myself at Silverstone for Formula Student UK, the 2021 edition, and yourself, sir, you'll be at Wilton Mill Kart Club.
I certainly will. Getting my first taste of it this season as well at Wilton Mill Kart Club, which has been one of those strange years where it's never quite fallen my way to do that. But no, really looking forward to that.
Murray Adams on your screen then. Another driver who's really impressed so far this season, racing in Class 2. Early times I can tell you about. Steve Hicks, currently the fastest driver out there. Remember, double-mm.com/live-timing. You can get all the results as they come in. The timing system's provided to us by SDK. Hicks has had a good start here, Howard. He's trying to get a second lap in as he goes down the Hanger Straight.
Yeah, absolutely, and with Michael out of it for this one, this is the kind of situation that Hicksy has to see as an opportunity. Not that every round isn't one, but just, you know, it's always can be a bit of a help if you feel like one of the big rivals is out for that race. You know, I'm not sure how much Mr. Preston will like hearing that, but it's that psychological boost. And Mike Hart was briefly there on the pole position before Steve, with whom we're riding on board, put in a 2:15.64 to reclaim that provisional pole. So
Big
going
laps.
well here at the moment.
Sorry, Howard. Big lap has just gone in from Chris Hansen. Puts himself on the second row of the grid with 2:15.78. So that should be Class 2 pole, you'd imagine, unless Matt Horgan or Matt Hale can pull something big out from their talent bags. So it's Hicks from Hart, that's row 1, Hansen and Edwards row 2. David Whitehouse has just improved there, Howard. I can see over start finished 7th place, 2:16.95. So good lap time there from David, who's looking to recover from the unfortunate accident that he had at the end of our Montreal round last time out. Here's Matt Hale on screen, not what for once, Howard, in G3 Pro colours. I'm quite shocked, but he's got a bit of a snazzy number here, maybe looking to pick up some points and prizes as well as passengers as he goes round Silverstone tonight.
Well, he's easy to spot, but yeah, I won't lie, I did just think that my trading paints had glitched. But yes, no, looking very fetching there in the yellow, why not?
Big thanks to G3 Pro, as always. One of our partners here for this 2021 Legends of Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. And had a good turnout from those boys on Saturday and Sunday, as well as we were racing at Rye House. Good to have a chat with them in the paddock. All in fine fettle and good form. So 1 minute to go then of this qualifying session. It is... Go ahead, Howard.
Just saying, back with Murray Adams, hasn't set a time yet, notably.
No, it has already done well, 2.81 laps according to SDK, so I'm hoping that includes the first out lap. But yeah, it is always one of the tricky things. There's some really tight off-track moments around this circuit, I find, especially coming out of Cops, for example, where you can pick up a 1x very easily.
New fastest lap for Mike Hart, though. Andrew puts himself back onto that pole. It's a big lap there for Hart. And Murray Adams finally pitches in with a time, putting him up into 7th place, 4th in Class 2. So good effort there with the pressure on. And with that, I'm wondering if there's anyone else out there still able to complete.
Hicks also running a very good livery tonight, Howard. That's another one that takes me back. Good evening to David Whitehouse in the chat as well. DW Media. Hello, lads. No practice for me, so going completely cold. Well, at least it's a circuit that he should know. But that qualifying session, Howard, a good pole position there for driver number 11, Mike Hart.
Indeed, yeah. Here are the results of qualifying just whilst they're gridding up. And yeah, good pole from Mike Hart there. And actually himself and Chris Hansen, Andrew, quite a tidy advantage there. Some 3/10 that they've got in hand over the rest of the field. So that one could be interesting to see how that goes out. Yeah, perhaps a few drivers. A relatively long lap here, mate. Maybe a few drivers who would have sought to have improved in a longer session. A bit more spread than we've seen at some of the circuits.
Yeah, I would just say, though, 2.4 seconds covering the top 15, once again showing the improvements of a lot of our drivers across the course of the last few months. I think at this point last year, the gap down to 15th probably would have been, or the lower echelons of the field would have been a lot larger than 2.5 seconds. But it looks like we are just about set to go here, Howard, for the first race of the evening. A couple more cars yet to join us on the grid, but once we are there, we will be setting for 10 laps of racing around the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit here this evening.
Yeah, and if we haven't covered already, the first of these 3 races we're going to have tonight, obviously the 2 formats that we've used throughout this season with the 3-lap format and the 2-lap pitting format that's been a bit more popular to use with the GT Legends. But we are doing the 3-race format tonight. We are going to be reversing bits of the grid. We'll cover more of that as we go on, I'm sure.
Quite hard to get these cars off the line as well, but the 2-minute window is up. The lights are about to come on then here at Silverstone for the first race of round 8 of the Legends of iRacing Club 100 and BUKC Championship. Away we go. Good start from Chris Hansen from P2 on the grid. He's going to get the whole shot and lead into turn 1 for the first time. So a fantastic start for the Class 2 front runner. He's leading overall as they head towards the loop for the first time. The new circuit part put in here in the early 2010s. A tricky braking zone. Are they all going to get through it at the moment? It's looking all okay, but I've spoken too early. Christopher Powell has had a half spin at the back of the field there. I can see Matt Hale, I think, has started from the pit lane as well, Howard. And Damien Wong involved and with damage on the front of his car.
Yeah, absolutely. As who's that having a bit of an off-track moment just ahead of them? It might have been...
It's a Loro.
Yeah, indeed. But yeah, not a great start there for Powell and Wong. Wong having a bit of damage there. One wonders if that's going to be... They're hardy cars, the Audi RS3s, but you know, if you do enough damage, you will start to feel it. That's I'd be surprised if he wasn't feeling that slightly, particularly on the straight.
Yeah, he's got rear end damage as well, so I wonder if someone's been into the back of Wong there and then that's gone into Christopher Powell, but they are still running. The crucial thing is all four corners are pointing in the right direction. Here are your leaders then. Chris Hansen in the black G3 Pro liveried car, then Mike Hart in that classic Super Touring era livery from the halcyon days, shall we say, of the British Touring Car Championship. It's not Josh Ladd behind, who sometimes runs in the Rosers livery. It's Tom Edwards tonight, and he's had a good start as well, Howard.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely good start there for Edwards. We're looking slightly further back just at this early battle here over 4th place. Hicks having to think about defending here against Matt Horgan. And they're nose to tail here.
Bad news for Craig Brown. Unfortunately, he's had a disconnect, so he is out of the race even before it got going. But as you say, Howard, we're watching this battle now for 4th place. Mike Hart in the Vauxhall Vectra livery, another BTCC throwback. Matt Horgan in the purple and yellow, and Ben Bennyworth has had a very good first lap there, making progress in the D&D wildcard racing entry.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Very good start for yeah, both him and Edwards really have had a good start to this one. We're going to cut on to our leader here, looking back at the rest of this top 6. And one thing that I note, mate, is that over the course of that lap, about a lap ago, I was thinking that Chris Hansen had the dream start, and in many ways he had, but Mike Hart hasn't let him get away with this. He's actually closed in quite significantly again here.
Yeah, he has. He's sizing up a move. He's having half a look at the end of the Wellington Straight. Bad news for Murray Adams supporters. I'm sad to report he is in the pit lane at the end of the first lap. Now he should be able to get a fast repair if there's significant accident damage to his number 210. There he is. But that doesn't look like it's going anywhere very quick, Howard. And Murray Adams is going to lose a significant number of points there.
Yeah, unfortunately so. That's not the start he would have wanted, and we may as well mention the fact that it is the top 5 that I believe get reversed. Yep. As this is an unorthodox place to have a look, isn't it? From Mike Hart into Maggots they go. They'll be side by side there, but not surprisingly, Chris just holds on to. Well, I say he holds the racing line. He's actually slightly off the racing line. He's going to be compromised down the Hanger Straight here, mate.
Well, Lewis Hamilton pulled off a move there in 2006 in GP2, but I don't think Hart was quite up alongside enough. But now he's got the run down the Hanger Straight. How many great overtakes have we seen down this piece of racetrack over the years? Hart's going to try and go round the outside through Stowe Corner, and if he can hold that on, Howard, that is a fantastic move. Mike Hart leads at Silverstone.
Well, we said he was strong and confident in this, and look at this. Tom Edwards now having a look as well for 2nd place, but just can't get it slowed down sufficiently and corner properly through the club complex, and he's going to take that fight onto another lap. But that was a beautiful move from Mike Hart, and clearly got the confidence in this Audi RS3 as new fastest lap of the race from 5th place Matt Horgan, as he pressures Steve Hicks behind as well.
Big lap this now for Hart. Can he break away from Hansen? It's a fast circuit. It's always been famous for being a circuit that has high speeds, as Edwards looks down the inside of Hansen once again. Can Hart break the toe, especially as they go down here the Wellington Straight over the bridge back onto the more established part of the Silverstone circuit? This area of the circuit last reprofiled in 1997. At the moment though, Howard, this top 6 breaking away from the rest of the field. There's a 9-second gap back to David Whitehouse behind, and also in a bit of sprint cadet race format. You'd imagine that these drivers would want to work together for this stage of the race, guarantee themselves at least 6th position. It's going to get tasty at the end, I'd imagine, because as you say, only the top 5 get reversed.
Yeah, absolutely. This is somewhat reminiscent of a C final for the top 4 or a B final for the top 2 in a conventional Club 100 sprint championship, isn't it, mate? Where it's about playing it somewhat tactically. I'm intrigued. If you're Ben Bennyworth, with whom we're on board right now, it's just I always think it's nice looking forward and just seeing the opportunity. It's like, I can make up a maximum of 5 positions here if I play my cards right. But absolutely, there is an element of working together at this early stage in the race, one would have thought.
Yeah, it's strange in a way, because I always kind of, you know, when I think reverse grids, and what was the first time I ever saw reverse grids being used, it was the BTCC. I forget which year they started to bring them in, but this, for Bennyworth at the moment, really is a position of, doesn't mind being in that 6th place at the moment, and he also doesn't mind at the end of that lap the top 4 started to break away, because if he can gain 1 more position on the road in this race, he's got pole position for race 2.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is actually the closest battle amongst the top 4 right now, as Chris Hansen, I thought, was having a look there at the inside of Village, half in attack, half in a defence, if anything, as they open up the throttle out of the loop.
Murray Adams has rejoined the race, so he's circulating again, but I think is at least the best parts of a lap behind. You just saw there a quick sight of David Whitehouse, and what we've got here, we've got Alan Curtis involved in the battle there in the other D&D wildcard racing entry. The taxi has had a bit of a bang on the front there.
It has, yes. Well, we've got a bit of Noah's Ark here.
It's Alan Curtis looking down the inside of James Fremont, another driver running in a classic Audi livery, a little bit older than what Hart is running at the front of the field, as the 264 of Joshua Wong. Very nice livery on that Audi. Flickers out of shot for a moment, but is fighting here with Matt Hale over 10th place.
Yes, we've got some nice little groups, nice little packs that are grouping off here, haven't we, mate? Forming some nice battles throughout the field, as Matt Hale maybe uses a little bit more of the runoff there than a race controller would ideally like to see. But yeah, nice little group here. And again, if you're Chris Powell behind this, you're sort of going, yeah, go on, get stuck in, folks. Give me the opportunity to catch up a bit.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the times. 2 minute 18.05, the best lap time for Chris Powell so far. So he's quicker than some of these drivers. Got the 56 in there as well of Kieran Fitzgerald.
Who's trying to do a Mike Hart.
Yeah.
But no, he's going to go down. There's a problem there for Wong.
Wong's back on circuit now. That was a very, very strange moment for Joshua Wong. But yet Kieran Fitzgerald also running the more rally spec Audi Quattro livery. And I wouldn't expect anything less from one of the bobble hats. Here is the fight over 5th place, and that's been a change there, Howard. Ben Bennyworth is into that 5th place. Oh, but he's run deep there into the loop. It's very easy to do, and Horgan's got back through. Yeah,
really nice battle, but it is going to mean, as we were seeing about a lap ago, they started to just fall behind the top 4 a little bit, and battling like that won't help their cause in that regard. But nevertheless, a fun battle for us to watch, and a very earnest attempt there from Ben Bennyworth to take that position, albeit going deep into Village.
Yeah, it's something you often see into that first big braking zone of the lap. I must admit, I don't know how well iRacing has wind or prevailing wind direction modelled, but many a time we've been sat at that corner, Howard, over the years, normally for the WEC weekends, and LMP2s seem to struggle with that corner a lot when the tailwind gets up behind them and pushes them on into the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Living up to that stereotype of an airfield turned racetrack, particularly at that part of the circuit. I say airfield turned racetrack, of course, quite famously becomes a very busy airfield in its own right on events such as Grand Prix weekend.
Yeah, this part of the world will, I think I mentioned it at the weekend, it will has the record for the most number of helicopters per square metre. Oh, gives a little bit of a tap to Hart there and does brilliantly to hold on, but he's going to have pressure here from both Edwards and Hicks in there as well. Is Edwards looking down the inside? That's well defended by Hansen, but he's very deep on the brakes, and Hart's going to nick, Hicks is going to nip up the inside as well. Bit of a shoulder barge reminiscent of Leclerc and Verstappen a couple of years ago, and he's got through, Howard. P3 for Steve.
Yeah, great opportunism there from Steve, showing his experience in many forms of racing. Many a time you and I have commentated on his karting, on his sim racing, and really well read there. He's going to have to go defensive, I think, into Village though, because Edwards is not looking keen to let this one go without a fight.
Yeah, defended that well, did Steve Hicks there in the number 21. What can he do now? I think he may be also running a Lando Norris helmet this weekend. Peering into the cockpit there. Here's Kieran Fitzgerald, driver number 56. That's Alan Curtis just ahead of him, and James Fremont. Not teammates for this evening, they just both really like old school late 80s Audi's Quattro liveries. Fitzgerald now trying to get a bit of a slipstream going. Will he go for the move into Brooklands? Looking down the inside, Curtis gives him space on the inside. Good respectful racing between these two Class 2 runners. Curtis will have the inside for Luffield now. Is there a bit of a cutback on for Fitzgerald as they go through Woodcut Corner? No. Well defended that, Howard, by Alan Curtis.
Yeah, very, very well judged, and yeah, he's still got to be slightly cautious towards the end of this straight, because it was quite the cutback that Fitzgerald was going for through Luffield. Third round of the season, if memory serves correctly, for Fitzgerald.
Yep, he's been away with work for a good part of this 2021 season. This will be a region of the circuit, Howard, that having the balance with these front-wheel drive cars. All spec setups, we should remind the viewers at home, but there's still an element of getting used to those setups. Not wanted to push too hard, but this is a good chance for Fitzgerald down the hanger straight into Stowe Corner, perhaps. But no, Curtis able to just fend him off for at least a few more moments. Fitzgerald, in fact, run a little bit wide there.
Yeah, indeed. Cutting back to the leaders slightly here. This is a gap that's opened up here now between second and third place. So whereas before it was a group of four and a pair battling over fifth and sixth, it's slightly changed here. It's for some reason a Newton's Cradle has just come to mind, because now we've got a group of two at the front with four at the four behind them.
I think we've had a change for third there as well, Howard. I think that's Tom Edwards back ahead of Steve.
It is, yeah.
We didn't see how that occurred, but the Rozzers are back onto the podium. Good evening to Greg Smith in the chat. Hope you're doing well, mate. And do let us know if you're watching in the chat, where you're watching from, who you're supporting. If you don't mind sharing the stream as well, let folks know that we're racing here this evening on iRacing at Silverstone. And it's an intriguing first race, this, Howard, as the drivers blast past the national pits. That's where all the Formula Student teams will be starting to set up from this point next week. On board with Ben Bennyworth now, going into Maggots. Got to get things so precise. Into Beckett's now, and then Chapel to finish off what, I know I'm biased, but is one of the best complexes of corners on any race circuit around the world.
Yeah. Sorry, we're going to cut back here, because now entering that that complex is this battle over 8th place, currently with James Fremont at the head of it, but very close between himself, Curtis and Fitzgerald and Matt Hale indeed with them as well.
You can see David White has all the BTCC liveries are coming out tonight.
And well they should.
Absolutely. David's having a strong race here, excuse me, as Fitzgerald gets to the inside of Curtis. Looking for that move. Whitehouse, having had very, very little testing time, he's gone for a Nescafe Renault BTCC Super Touring era livery by the looks of it, but Curtis holds that position ahead of Fitzgerald. Matt Hale still there as well in 11th. Chris Powell now up to 12th, both of the Wongs now 13th and 14th. Alexandre Aloro still in there as well, wrapping out the top 15. Back on board there, Howard, with Hicks looking for a move on Tom Edwards.
Yeah, he's got a good run onto the Wellington Straight here. I think it's going to be interesting here into the Brooklands part of the lap. He's going to have a look into Brooklands. Of course, in classic Silverstone dogfighting style, he will be on the outside here for Luffield, but if he can just judge this right, he can get the switch back onto the straight ahead of them, by the way. Hansen really beginning to hound Mike Hart again. Here is Hicks trying to tuck under now, but brilliantly judged there by Tom Edwards, Andrew, to judge that. But no, there's going to be a gap opening up again here as they head towards Copse, and Hicks is going to put it down the inside of Copse, and the switchback's going to happen. They're going to arrive at Maggots and Beckett side by side at this rate. Drag race out of Copse here in the battle over third place, but I think it's still just about going to remain Tom Edwards to claim at the moment.
Yeah, when they were going side by side there through into Luffield, I was having flashbacks to 1992 and John Gleland and Steve Sober back in the day. But they've just about been able to keep it clean so far. We're on lap 8 of this first 10-lap race of the evening. But look at this, going for the lead now. Chris Hansen down the inside of Mike Hart into Stowe Corner. Can he get the braking right? Can Hart get the switch back here? It's going to be Hansen's lead, Howard. That's a fantastic move, but he's run wide.
Yes, he has indeed. He's going to be under pressure here into the club part of the lap. But just positioned himself well there. Wasn't blocking, but just did the right positioning there, I think, to just deter any move attempt by Hart. This is all becoming really nice, isn't this, in the closing stages? Immediately goes to driver's right down the Hamilton Straight. Renamed last year, I believe, or officially named last year. Lovely little battle this, and behind them you can see the battle over third as well. So this is really interesting stuff. And again, Ben Bennyworth and Matt Horgan are going to smell the opportunity here and try and get onto the back of this. We could have a 6-horse battle for the lead of this one on the last lap, mate.
We could indeed. Murray Adams is in the pits again and out of the race, unfortunately. We're on the penultimate lap of this first race of the evening. It's Hansen from Hart, Edwards, Hicks, Bennyworth, Horgan. They're all on for good points here. It's quite intriguing across the course of this evening. Where would you rather finish? Would you rather finish 5th, get that pole position for race number 2? Hicks was a little bit out of shape there. He's just about holding on to that 4th position. Do you want to get those points on the board early? Do you want to get in that top 3?
Well, one wonders how much they're really thinking about that at the moment, mate. I mean, in the moment, they're going to be focusing on everything that counts. But at the moment, Matt Horgan is in that position you don't want to be, where you're at the back of this pack and you're not going to get any benefit at all on the grid for the next one.
Indeed. So 1.5 laps to go thereabouts in this first race. Just to let you know who else has been gaining some positions last time around. Well, Alan Curtis has lost the position, I think, to Kieran Fitzgerald. A few off-tracks coming in as well, but look at this. Here comes Hicks. Is he going to get down the inside of Edwards into Stowe Corner? I think he is. Howard, can he get the braking right? Edwards will try and hold around the outside. That's a very good attempt by Edwards. He's given Hicks the racing room and has held onto the position.
Yeah, and so long as he can just hold it, and slightly later on the brakes as well here for the left-hander, and he's going to be able to cover that one off and should be able to get a clean run onto the Hamilton Straight there. But Hicks has got a better exit. There's no two ways about it, so he's still going to have to be thinking defensively here is Edwards as they head down on the start of a new lap. through the right-hander.
Last lap
Indeed.
for the drivers. And this is still so close out there. And Bennyworth's getting involved now. He's maybe smelling an opportunity to take a third place here, which would be one of his best results of the season so far. Into the loop, crucial corner to get the exit right as you go down the Wellington Straight for the last time in this first race of the evening. Is there going to be an opportunity down into Brooklands?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You can see we've gone to drivers left here as we go down the Wellington Straight, and Hicks moving about a little bit there to try and put them off making the move, and in many ways it worked there, mate, because no attempt made into Brooklands. Matt Horgan right with them now as well. Also Mike Hart closing up now onto the back of race leader Chris Hansen as well. It's all kicking off here in the last lap of just the first race, by the way. We've got to make it through 2 more of these, mate. I'm not quite sure how we're going to. Difficult to know where to look right now.
Yeah, Hicks just looks a little bit weak in a straight line for me at the moment. Matt Horgan's going to be enjoying this. This is just what he wants. Everybody battling, and maybe an opportunity right at the end to nip through into 5th place. Edwards chops across the front of Bennyworth there as they head out of Copse and towards Maggots. That gives Hicks a little bit of breathing room, but it's the big long run down to Stowe Corner next, and it's all still to play for.
This is really top stuff here between our top 6. Ahead of these 4, I think Chris Hansen's doing enough here. I don't think Mike Hart is close enough to make a move here for the lead of the race. I think Chris Hansen will be good, and there's nothing on between these 4 battling over 3rd either as they head out of Stowe.
It's been a really strong race from all these 6 drivers. Oh, Hansen's got a little bit deep into Club. Through Vale, sorry, and is there going to be an opportunity for Hart on the inside as they go through Club Corner for the last time? Oh, there's contact between the 2 of them on the line. Who's going to take it? On the line it is going to be Chris Hansen. Oh, heart in mouth stuff there right at the end of race number 1. Chris Hansen got deep on the brakes there, Howard, into Vale and just held on by 0.05 of a second. For Mike Hart there in 2nd, Steve Hicks 3rd, Tom Edwards 4th, Ben Bennyworth 5th, Matt Horgan 6th. A great drive there from David Whitehouse. He finishes 7th, 8th for Kieran Fitzgerald, 9th for James Fremont, another top 10 for Matt Hale, Alan Curtis, Christopher Powell, Damien Wong, Joshua Wong, and Alexandre Aloro will be those remaining at the end of the race on the lead lap. And 2 retirements, Murray Adams and Craig Brown.
I want to give a shout out there though to a really good battle there between Matt Hale and Alan Curtis. They too had a drag race to the line, less than 2 tenths between them, and a good battle as well for the latter half, as there's the usual customary end to a race being done there. Damien Wong and Joshua Wong, mate, both having a really good battle with each other for a lot of the latter third of that race. But yeah, a big story there, as I think that's our last car across the line. But yeah, big thing there was definitely the battle between the top 6. That was the story of the race in many ways.
Very good stuff. If you enjoyed that one in the chat, or if you're watching on replay, do make sure that you've clicked that like button. If you enjoyed the content here and want to see more, and you've not subscribed yet to the DDMM YouTube channel, click that button as well. Click that button right now. And you know what? Finish it off with the hat trick of the notification bell. But a very good race here at Silverstone, and we're going to get straight into another one, Howard. Reverse grid, partial reverse grid, and another 10 laps to feast on here at the home of British Motorsport.
Yep, absolutely, mate. Reversing the top 5 for the grid, which means your pole sitter is Ben Bennyworth, Tom Edwards alongside Steve Hicks and Mike Hart on row 2, and Chris Hansen on row 5, and the rest lining up as they were. And we're good for another go here, Andrew.
We are indeed. So there is Ben Bennyworth on pole position. 5 lights here at Silverstone. Away we go. Steady start from both of those on the front row. But once again, it's P2 in the second phase that is going to get the run into turn 1. Tom Edwards leads as they go through Abbey for the first time in this one. Bennyworth trying to fight back there. They're all, and there's a problem at the back there for David Whitehouse. in the Renault liveried Nissan. I really said the other one then, not a Renault liveried Nissan. Those two work together in real life. They don't work with Audi, but it is still an Audi underneath. Bennyworth round the outside though there, Howard though. It's got through, back into the lead as they go down the Wellington Straight for the first time.
Yeah, and Mike Hart as well, capitalising on the compromised Tom Edwards there to go up into second. And behind them, Hicks is going to have a look at Chris Hansen as well as they head into Brooklands. Side by side, Matt Horgan. It's basically battle resumed from the last race, as behind them that looked like, was that Damien Wong, I think, going wide through Brooklands, so losing out slightly there. This is the opportunity, because there's less of a grid change as we've maybe had on to some of our formats. This kind of gives an opportunity for battle to be resumed, as going side by side for the lead now, Mike Hart and Ben Bennyworth, and that's Mike Hart up into the lead as they head into Copse.
Yeah,
can
very
it remain
well
that way?
By Hart. Here comes Edwards though, trying to fight back in, and he's got to slot somehow into second place. Bennyworth gives him room as they go through Maggots and into Beckett's. On with the blimp. Well, no, the helicopter. The blimp doesn't move that quick. And trying to keep up with Mike Hart is no easy feat, but it's this top six again, Howard, in the order of Hart, Edwards, Bennyworth, Hansen, Hicks, and Horgan in there as well. And I think we see, is that Matt Hale holding on pretty well at the moment in the taxi?
Yeah, well, this is the opportunity, of course, for those who maybe, you know, weren't close to this top six in the last race. This is their opportunity, effectively, to break into that club. As look at this, it's like we're on a sped-up formation lap here as they head towards the club complex through that left-hander and then the two right-hand apexes to take them onto a new lap. At the moment, Chris Hansen trying to hang on around the outside of Steve Hicks there as they come into a kind of reminiscent, actually, of how the last race ended. I feel he was in quite a similar position with Mike Hart.
More problems for Murray Adams, I'm sad to report. He's in the pits at the end of lap 1 again here in race number 2. I think he had a bit of a spin heading into the Vale. On board now with Damien Wong as we go into Village. He's got Craig Brown just ahead of him, so Craig Brown has got the technical problems that befalled him in the last race. He's going to have to get up to speed as well, holding that 10th place quite nicely at the moment.
Really good stuff in the early phases. This is basically, we're just going to get the same treatment again, but we might have sprinkled a few extra cars into the mix. This is brilliant stuff, mate.
It is indeed. It's exactly why we stream this series. All of these experienced drivers in Club 100 and BUKC karting over the years, applying their trade midweek here on iRacing. Looking back from Tom Edwards now at Ben Bennyworth, who's run a little bit deep through Copse corner, and that's going to be the opportunity that Chris Hansen needs to get up into third, but no, not able to capitalise it on it, Howard.
No, not quite. I was surprised by that. Ben Bennyworth obviously keeping his foot in it and managing to keep it going there over the GeoBlock AstroTurf surface on the outside of Copse there. But, yeah, definitely under pressure now, Ben Bennyworth from behind, more so than he is hounding Tom Edwards ahead of him. But it's not as if Chris Hansen can focus purely on the target ahead, because Steve Hicks is looking racy again, and Matt Hale having a bit of a look there. As Steve Hicks here does go down the inside, tries it down the inside of Stowe, but I don't think it's going to quite pay off. It is one of those corners, Stowe, Andrew, where, in fact, many corners around Silverstone, because it's so wide and you've got such a wide radius to some of these corners, you can hang on round the outside of these corners, as Chris Hansen does have a look at Ben Bennyworth through club, but it's not on this time.
I chuckled then because Matt Hale was on the lights, fully on the lights, trying to put Matt Horgan off down the Hanger Straight. He's enjoying being at the front of this order. James Fremont's having a good race here as well, Howard. 8th place for James at the moment. He's been putting a lot of practice in as Alan Curtis comes into pit lane.
Yeah, we've got a few people having issues here. Alan Curtis has been in. You mentioned Murray Adams. Alexander Aloro here, quite a way off the back of the pack, as indeed is Joshua Wong. So a few people maybe coming to blows on the opening laps as we cut back to the madness that is. Oh, is that that's Josh Wong there that they were going past, isn't it?
Yes, actually, yeah, you're right. I thought for a moment the red car's confused me. I thought it was Craig Brown. It's like, how's he got all the way up there and then had an incident? But you're right, it is Joshua Wong, a lap off the lead, just keeping away out of the leaders at that moment. Starting to break apart a bit at the front of the field, but it's still advantage Mike Hart. But Tom Edwards, your fastest driver at the moment, Howard. 2 minutes 17.46 last time around.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to set about putting the pressure on Mike Hart ahead of him, who so far has been able to show a clean pair of heels to this battling top. I think it's unkind to call it top 6. It's kind of a top 8 now, isn't it? In this one, or top 7 at least.
Tom Edwards trying to dig deep here. Has come on strong across the course of this season. Had a very good evening at Montreal. Round number 7 here on board now with Chris Hansen. Looking at Steve Hicks just ahead of us. Hicks defensive to the inside. Matt Horgan not too far behind as well. These two drivers need to be aware of. Side by side there behind, I think that's Craig Brown and James Fremont battling over their 8th place, and that is 8th place for the driver in the number 41.
Is indeed good little move that by Craig. Yeah, just got it hooked up through Stowe, and 8th place is now his. Meanwhile, so, back in amongst this top. Sorry, mate.
I would say end of lap 3. Hart leads from Edwards, Bennyworth and Hicks. Hicks now defending from Chris Hansen. Hansen looking to the inside. Can Hansen get on the inside for the loop? Oh, he's gone for it. That's going to all get a little bit close and tasty. But such is the experience and the calibre of all these drivers, Howard. They've all made it through without hitting each other.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'd argue there that Hicks kept that within track limits as well, so all very good and respectful, and that was very impressive for Hansen to make that work. Did not allow being tight at the loop to compromise his acceleration onto the straight. Then again, you've just got the feeling that Steve Hicks is going to throw it down the inside here at Luffield. Indeed he does, and he's provided he can get a good, decent exit, and he does. Indeed squeezes Hansen over the curb slightly there just to seal the deal. That was a nice move to get it back by Steve Hicks. And it's interesting, a lap ago that we were talking about Tom Edwards putting in the pace to catch up to Mike Hart, mate. It's not transpired because Ben Bennyworth is right with him now, and this is really a bit of a very early Christmas present to Mike Hart in a way, because if they're battling this much, maybe they've already made the judgment that Hart has checked out on this one, but I certainly wouldn't describe this pack as working together.
Yeah, it's a difficult position this for Tom Edwards, because he's lost the toe, I'd say, to Mike Hart ahead. It's 1.77 seconds as they come onto the Hangar Straight. Still over half of this race to go. A bit of a break after this one, and then we'll get into race number 3. All of these races count for the same number of points. Matt Hale having a very good run here, Howard. I'd say it's potentially up there for his strongest of the season so far.
Yeah, agreed, mate. He's able to, he's keeping up with these top runners really well, and yeah, really still one of those stories that I like to revisit about this championship, of his, you know, growth and improvement as a sim racing driver. Although right now I'm going to focus on this other story coming into turn 1, because look at this, we've got Noah's Ark formation coming in here. Tom Edwards on the inside, but Hicks trying to go around the outside at Farm, and he's going to try down the inside at Village on Ben Bennyworth as well if he can, but Bennyworth is going to hang on to it for now, and all of this battling does allow the likes of Matt Hale to get back on terms with these other 5 drivers ahead of him. And this time it's Hicks who's going to try down the inside coming out the loop, and he's made that work brilliantly.
Did indeed. Chris Hansen's lost out in this. He's lost a couple of positions as he was forced wide through Abbey. Still close as you like. And this is what we hoped, Howard, from this Audi TCR car at the start of the season, that it would offer this kind of classic touring car duel or duels, we should say, out on circuit, especially one as fast and as sweeping here as we've got at Silverstone.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth, mate, just seeing them all there drag racing each other down the Wellington Straight. There is something classically touring car about that. As they come out of Copse again, Tom Edwards trying to tuck underneath, but he's unlikely to make that work unless he can really try and dominate the line coming through Maggots. He is still keeping his nose in there, isn't he? But he's got to be careful here, and behind them at the back of this pack, you can see Matt Hale really starting to hound Chris Hansen now as they come out onto the Hanger Straight.
Mike Hart's gone at the front of this pack. 4.73 seconds is now his lead, but everybody is right in there for second place. In fact, I think I can see Craig Brown starting to join this group as well, as round the outside looks Tom Edwards. Can he make that one work through Stoke Corner? No, Hicks is just going to have enough to pull back ahead. He's been doing a lot of defending so far tonight to Steve Hicks. Ben Bennyworth's down the inside as well, both attacking and defending at the same time. Fenders are getting slightly nerfed as we go round Club Corner. We've still got another 4 laps of this, Howard. This could end any which way up.
Absolutely, mate. Brilliant, brilliant stuff again. Bit of a love tap on the rear of his hand. Craig Brown, yeah, will be licking his lips and looking up the road, won't he? Because this one is going to run and run. And as you say, Mike Hart's checked out, so there's not much else for these guys to do now other than to battle away, as here at Village, Tom Edwards is going to try and tuck underneath us Steve Hicks, who we are on board with. As they come out once again onto the Wellington Straight, who's got the good run this time around?
Well, they're all going very defensive.
I thought we were watching a different part of the track, such was the difference in line they all took. Bit deep there from Tom Edwards into Brooklands. That's going to give Bennyworth the opportunity, and he's going to close the line brilliantly into Luffield there as well, mate. That was nicely judged from Bennyworth there to claim third place for now. But Edwards is most certainly going to try and come back at him down this start-finish straight for the national circuit.
This is what we call the full Gandalf. It's like a full breakfast. It comes with eggs, bacon, everything in there. And it's all with trying to hold on to your position. Steve Hicks does it very, very well. We've seen him employ this trade over the years many, many times. And you can see, it's just, what do you do if you're Matt Horgan in this position? Because right at that moment, there was a potential lane underneath Tom Edwards that could be exploited. But you've got Chris Hansen trying to nab his own position. You don't know which way to look at the moment.
It's a good point. I mean, one of the key things to learn, I think, when in getting used to iRacing, is to be good at running behind other drivers and how to drivers look at this. Bennyworth having a really deep look there into Stowe. He's going to make it worth. I think Tom Edwards is going to go around the Steve Hicks, who was stalled, but somehow Hicks has managed to pull that one back to his advantage as they head towards Club, and it's Bennyworth at the moment who has the advantage. He'll have the inside line, but Hicks is going to try and keep his nose in it. Horgan going side by side with Hansen behind them as well, and that's Hansen who comes away from that one the beneficiary. There's a bit of blinking, at least for me, with Bennyworth going on there, but that's, I don't know how Hicks is able to take these situations, and I see him do this in karting all the time, but how he takes these situations. And it's through turn one there, big moment there between Horgan and Edwards, and Hansen involved as well.
Yeah, 3 wide into Abbey doesn't often work, but just about the guys made that stick. There was the 2 great overtakes there, Howard. Hansen round the outside of Horgan into Vale, and then back again, returning the favour. Horgan on Hansen into Abbey. Now here comes Matt Hale taking down the inside, trying to go for 6th position as they go down the Wellington Straight, and he's got it.
Brilliant. That's what Matt Hale has been looking to do for the last few laps. It's been like watching watching a stock on a market and wondering, when is it time for me to start buying into this? And he just went for it there, and he's picked one off. That was brilliantly judged as Hansen's going wide and dipping the wheels onto the gravel slightly coming out of Luffield. And is that going to give Hale the opportunity to start getting even further into this train?
Feel really bad for the guys behind because some great battles going on as well. Craig Brown and James Fremont still very closely fighting over 8th position. Kieran Fitzgerald is trying to get past Damien Wong as well for 10th, but we've got to stick with this because this is at the sharp end of the field. This is where the big points are going to be tonight. Matt Horgan now in 7th place, takes a slightly wider line as it comes out of Beckett through Chapel and onto the Hangar Straight, looking to try and get back past that yellow cab in front, piloted by Matt Hale, retake that 6th position.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope I am in controlling the cameras this evening. I hope people don't mind. I keep going to these wide shots because I don't know where the next attempt is coming from tonight.
You've got to keep the options open. Oh, it's a problem for Hicks into Vale there. Was a little bit out of shape. Can Bennyworth take advantage of this as they go through Club Corner past the Silverstone wing on driver's right? That's where the Grand Prix teams will be setting up at this precise moment. And Hicks defends again, holds on to his position there in 2nd.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Hicks. And Matt Horgan as well now, really having a go back at Matt Hale. You can see the battle between Craig Brown and James Fremont in the back of shot as well. As you say, Andrew, Kieran Fitzgerald and Damien Wong having a really good battle as well.
And crucially, Fitzgerald has got past Wong, so that's P10 in this race and pole position for race number 3 if he can hold on to it. Hicks is going defensive again down the Wellington Straight. Bennyworth still there in 3rd, Edwards in 4th in the police car livery. Chris Hansen, so this 4 have broken away now from Matt Hale and Matt Horgan. If they're not careful, they're going to fall into the clutches of Craig Brown. Is that a mistake there from Hicks, Howard?
Well, Bennyworth has been able to tuck under, whether it was by accident or by design from Hicks there, and it's going to be effectively there's a practically shake and bake here between Tom Edwards and Ben Bennyworth to try and both charge past Hicks on the national pit straight, and they've got the job done. That was beautiful working together in the midst of what has otherwise been absolute gloves off fighting between them all race long, and Chris Hansen wants to get in on this as well. He's been relatively quiet within this battle, and side by side between Hale and Horgan as well as they came into Maggots. At the moment it's going the way of Hale still though.
It is indeed. He's really got the elbows out tonight, has Matt Hale. Hicks has a look at Edwards, pulls out of the slipstream, tries to pick up another slipstream of Bennyworth ahead. That's a nice little move if Hicks can make that work round the outside. He's got to behold himself bravely in there. No, can't quite do it. There's not as much grip on that outside line here at Silverstone, and that's left invulnerable to Chris Hansen now in the 001 down the inside into Vale. Can Hansen get the move done? Yes, he can. That's P4 for your Class 2 leader.
Yeah, and for a moment there, mate, I thought Hansen was really going to go for it and try and do the double overtake and take Tom Edwards as well, but I think he'll you know, he's frugal. He'll leave that one till the next corner. As indeed he tries here at Abbey to try and get involved, but that would be, we saw him have a moment a few laps ago in that corner. I don't think he wants to make a repeat of that.
Michael Preston chips in on the chat. Steve is doing his best Anwar impression, parking the bus. I don't know what you mean, Michael, not at all. It's not reminding me of Lyd a few years back. Here is your battle for, in fact that's Craig Brown now down in 10th place, so something's happened to Craig Brown there, and has promoted Kieran Fitzgerald, the two Quattro boys, Fitzgerald and Fremont up to 8th and 9th positions. Edwards,
yeah, absolutely,
Hansen side by side for P3. Is that going to be an opportunity? Oh, I thought Hicks was charging there up the inside to retake 4th position. Thinks better of it. Just over a lap and a half to go in this second race of the evening.
Can we get them to do a few more races? Can we get them to do a few more races? But I'm absolutely loving this evening.
I think our voices are going to give out if they do more than one more after this. But yeah, you're absolutely right. This is fantastic stuff here at Silverstone. Chris Hansen, we were briefly on board with, now on board with Steve Hicks, running in 5th place. Through Chapel we go. Just loses a little bit there. They go onto the hanger straight. Is this going to be an opportunity for Hansen to attack Edwards now for third position down into Stoke Corner? Doesn't look like he's got the overspeed, but now it looks like he's got the overspeed. He's going to go for the move late into Stowe on the brakes. How about that? P3 now for Chris Hansen.
That was a textbook Stowe overtake. Made it look easy, but very impressive stuff there from Chris Hansen. And behind, we've still got Matt Hale battling away with Matt Horgan here as they head through Club. These two are about to go on to the last lap.
James Fraymont and Kieran Fitzgerald swapping positions back and forth behind. Here they are. Running ever so slightly different details, actually, if you look carefully. Fitzgerald down the inside, yeah, has got the black details on the roof there of his car. That was a great move into Abbey. Gets him another position and a few more points.
Brilliant, brilliant stuff, absolutely. Bennyworth leads Hansen onto the Wellington straight for the last time and immediately goes to driver's left here. He is not interested in being lunged into Brooklands at all here, but has he got a bit too defensive? Because Hansen might just be able to prise open the door into Luffield. Hicks as well, and Edwards going hammer and tongs behind.
Yeah, Bennyworth getting his full Anwars out there. I'm sure he's learnt that from the ABS lad driving school over on the Discord. But this time Hansen has got the run at the inside. Surely he's going to have second place here into Copse Corner. This is going to provide a very interesting scenario, Howard, because we've not talked about him much for the last 4 or 5 laps because he's 9 seconds in the lead. But if the result stays this way, Mike Hart and Chris Hansen will both have a first and a second each. They may have to deal with Alexandre Aloro, though, who's a lap down and just about to be overtaken here. But they're on to the hanger straight for the last time here in race number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, we're almost not... we've barely seen Mike Hart at all. But Hicks now, it looks like, is the person in this pack who's most likely to be able to have a go, but I think he is too far back for that one.
Not quite sure what was going on with Aloro there, but here, what a drive this has been. Superb, dominant, great overtaking at the start of the race. Mike Hart takes race 2 here at Silverstone in round 8 of the 2021 Legends of Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Second is going to be Chris Hansen, who's going to put himself in a brilliant position, not just in Class 2, but for the round overall. Third for Ben Bennyworth. Fourth for Steve Hicks. Fifth is Tom Edwards. Sixth is Matt Hale. What has happened to Matt Horgan at the end there? Because Kieran Fitzgerald has beaten him to the line, so it's Fitzgerald 7th, Horgan 8th, Fremont 9th, Craig Brown should be your pole position holder on the reverse grid for race number 3. Damien Wong in 11th, David Whitehouse 12th, Christopher Powell and Alan Curtis with the 14 drivers remaining on the lead lap. Alexandre Aloro and Joshua Wong 1 lap down, and Murray Adams a retirement.
Yeah, not sure what happened to Matt Horgan on that final lap. Obviously he had been battling with Matt Hale a lot during that race, but interesting. Oh well, I mean I'm just seeing on the chat Horgan just congratulating Matt Hale, saying for a nice race and sorry about contact. So something happened between the two of them on that final lap.
Indeed it would be. Just thinking, I can't remember whether we have a little bit of a warm-up here this evening, but in case we do, we're going to take a short break here on the commentary from Double Dash Motorsport Media. If you are enjoying the coverage, at Double Dash on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, do give us a like, a follow and all of that business on all of those networks if you can. If you're enjoying the stream, subscribe to the DDMM YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're going to be back very, very shortly with more action here at Silverstone and the final race of the evening here on your iRacing Legends of Club 100 and BUKC Championship. Back very shortly for race 3. Back here then on the DDMM YouTube channel. Hope you're doing very, very well this Wednesday evening. It's live coverage of round 8 of the 2021 Legends of Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Andrew Mather and Howard Mitchell on commentary duties for you here. And we've had two great races so far this evening. And we've still got another one to come for you here on the stream. Do let us know who you're supporting. There is the result from race number 2. Mike Hart, the winner, ahead of Chris Hansen, Ben Bennyworth, Steve Hicks, Tom Edwards, Matt Hale, your top 6. Kieran Fitzgerald, James Fremont, Craig Brown and Damien Wong in the top 10. So that should mean that Wong in the end actually is your top, or should have pole position for this final race of the evening. Such an incident there for Matt Horgan at the end. So David Whitehouse, Chris Powell, Matt Horgan, Alan Curtis, Alessandria Loro, Joshua Wong and Murray Adams wrapping up the 17 runners. And I'm hoping, because that graphic appeared wonderfully on screen, that does mean that Howard Mitchell is still with me. Howard, sum up for me those first 2 races just as the warm-up for race 3 comes to a close here.
I mean, it felt like there was more continuity than perhaps any 2 races we've had in this format throughout the year. That it was basically battle resumed, but with some extra playmates in that second race. It's been really spectacular at the front, but that's not to take away at all as well from some of the really good battles that we've seen throughout the field. You know, Josh Wong versus Damien Wong in that first race. And we talked a lot about Kieran Fitzgerald having battles, Alan Curtis having battles as well. So there's been some great fights throughout the field, and in spite of all that, it sort of almost seems outside of the theme that we actually just saw quite a dominant win there from Mike Hart. But such was the battling pretty much throughout, from second place down through to 7th, that just allowed him to stride away at the front.
Checkered flag is out then for the short warm-up session between races 2 and 3. So we will start gridding up for race number 3. Same length, 10 laps, same number of points on offer than the first 2 races. So effectively for our round win here, Howard, you would assume that it's a straight shootout between Chris Hansen and Mike Hart. Whichever one of them finishes ahead of the other in this next race should win the round.
Indeed, and that's no matter how that goes, it's going to mean some really big points within Class 2 for Chris Hansen coming out of this evening, isn't it?
Should do indeed. So once we are ready with everybody on the grid, most drivers have got themselves very promptly on to start-finish. We will be good to go. So Damien Wong there on the right of your screen, ready to take this race from pole position. Craig Brown alongside on the front row in the Doritos mobile. 5 lights, red, and they are out, and we're racing here at Silverstone for the final time this evening. Once again, second place is the place to be on the grid. Craig Brown, great start, will lead into turn 1 for the first time here.
Yeah, it looked like a rocket ship start though from Chris Hansen as well there, Andrew. Really bursting out of his grid position as they all head down to Village for the first time.
Oh, side by side, a bit of contact. Contact between the 2 drivers going for the win here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike Hart and Chris Hansen making contact in Village. Meanwhile, up ahead, it looks like Tom Edwards is trying to seize the early advantage of this race. Mike Hart is off the road. He's got to be careful as he rejoins, though, because that's going to put him into contact with Ben Bennyworth, and I think all concerned were very lucky to still be pointing in the same direction on the Wellington Straight come the end of that exchange, Andrew.
Yeah, nearly had an incident similar to what Kimi Räikkönen suffered a few years ago in the Formula 1. There's problems for the leader. Craig Brown is off at Luffield, and has he got damage on the front left as well? I think he has, and it looks like he is out of the race in terms of contention. What rotten luck this evening for Craig Brown. Was a retirement with connection issues on race number 1. Yeah, there's definite damage to the front left there, so something has happened. I don't know if he's been lunged into Brooklands or something, but that's significant damage and a real shame he's out of this race.
Side by side for the lead here as they head into Maggots, Andrew. Damien Wong has just pipped Kieran Fitzgerald there as they head through the famous complex of corners for the first time in this final race of the evening. It is now Damien Wong who leads as they head on to the Hanger Straight, but being as how seasoned Tom Edwards is now battling at the front of these races tonight, one wonders if he's not about to put a move. He's going to try and hang it round the outside here of Kieran Fitzgerald, side by side as they come out.
Sorry, Howard, this is a big move from Edwards on this first lap. He's made the best progress of those that we've seen at the front of the field consistently across the evening so far. Down the inside, gets second place off of Kieran Fitzgerald there. He's now having a look down the inside of Damien Wong. Doesn't want to go too deep in there. There was an incident between Kevin Magnussen and Alex Albon at that corner early in a race last season. Just about. Damien Wong has held onto the lead here from pole position. Lost it initially to Craig Brown. To report there's more troubles for Murray Adams, and Alan Curtis is in the pits at the end of lap 1 as well. Edwards looks down the inside of Wong into Village. We'll maybe look for the switch back out of the loop, but I think Fitzgerald has stopped him doing that because he just got the nose of his Audi underneath Edwards and stopped him chopping down.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Fitzgerald inadvertently did Wong a bit of a favour there. We go on board with Matt Hale as he starts to look at the back of Kieran Fitzgerald, heading into Brooklands, and there's going to be side-by-side contact there. That's quite a robust move, and that's going to put him deep into the corner and possibly give opportunities to James Fremont as he gets involved. Don't forget Fremont and Fitzgerald running very similar liveried cars, and Chris Hansen's going to get involved as they tangle up with each other.
Yeah, it's getting proper touring car out there. It's like the end of a BTCC season out there at the moment.
It is race number 3. It is race number 3.
We're all going home for the weekend with much more battered and bruised cars than we arrived with. Here we go, out of Copse Corner on lap 2 of 10. Looking back from the leader, Tom Edwards, number 58. Damien Wong having one of his strongest races of the year so far, side by side between Ben Bennyworth and James Fremont there. There is Mike Hart, who we've seen in the top 2 all evening. He's got past Fremont there, now trying to get past Bennyworth. These are big laps here for Mike Hart because you can see as there's problems for James Fremont. He's slow onto the Hanger Straight. Went across the grass, so it's probably a slowdown penalty that Fremont is trying to get rid of at the moment. There is Matt Horgan behind, and Matt Hale now up to 3rd place, Howard.
Yeah, absolutely, but Chris Hansen's looking to make that history as he goes hard on the brakes, late on the brakes relative to Matt Hale there, and manages to get it stopped in time. Really nice move there for 3rd place. Just to do a bit of housekeeping, from what I discerned from the lobby chat, Andrew, it was in fact a slowdown for Matt Horgan at the end of that last race, which ultimately led to the contact between Hale and Horgan there.
Yeah, so Horgan having to deal with that, and it's been quite costly for him. It's put him out the top 10 for this reverse grid. Oh, punt up the rear there from Damien Wong. That's going to offer Hansen an opportunity down the inside. Brilliantly done by Chris Hansen. Recognised that Wong was going to have lost a load of momentum exiting Village, and for not the first time tonight here, Howard, he got that move done into the loop.
He did, but it's not quite over yet as they head down the Wellington Straight. Hansen is going to have to go defensive into Brooklands just to deter Damien Wong, who we maybe haven't looked at all too often on the stream tonight, but don't forget has had a fair few battles of his own throughout the evening. Christopher Powell here going into battle with Steve Hicks, who's not been able to make the progress up the field, Andrew, that some of his former race sharp enders, is a phrase I've just made up, have been able to do.
Yeah, he just seems to be struggling in terms of straight line all evening, does Hicks. That's a bit of a compromised line from Powell through Copse Corner. So at the moment, my back of my hand maths has got Chris Hansen as winning the round at the moment with 2 seconds and a first. Mike Hart is starting to come into the picture though, Howard. He's up to 5th place, trying to bridge across to this top 4 now, and he's still got plenty of time to do so. Remember, he won the last race by some 9 seconds. Here side by side are Whitehouse and Hart, and Matt Horgan now looking down the inside and seems to just glide past the Vectra. I'm not sure there's an Audi engine in Hicks's car tonight. I think someone's put a GM motor in there and it's not quite powering him along as much as he would like.
Yeah, it just seemed to. I mean, fair play to Whitehouse, but he got the move done before the braking for Stowe. So really does look like Steve Hicks is in some way compromised down the stretch. You can see how they're pulling away from him here on the Hamilton straight. It's not all okay in a straight line for Steve Hicks by any stretch of the imagination.
Lap 4 then. Tom Edwards leads by 1/4 of a second ahead of Chris Hansen. Damien Wong third, Whitehouse and Horgan going side by side. Is this going to be an opportunity for Hicks to get down the inside of Horgan? Yes, it is. Beautifully placed by Steve Hicks. And he'll look to get a good run down the Wellington Straight now and maybe having an attack on David Whitehouse. Over 9th position down into Brooklands. But once again, struggles in a straight line, and Horgan's going to be down the inside instead. James Fremont's in there as well. This is quite strange. I mean, I don't know, is there a little bit of damage there on the front end, Howard, of the number 21? Is it maybe a little bit of aero damage, or I'm at a loss to understand this lack of pace for Hicks at the moment?
Yeah, it's not what we've come to expect at all. Does look, maybe, yeah, a bit of damage there, but to be honest, no disrespect to the 4 rings intended here, I'm finding it difficult. Yeah, no, okay, there is some damage there. I was going to say I'm finding it difficult with the grill to tell, but no, there's definitely something there, because he is definitely compromised.
Yeah, and I just wonder, has it affected the power? That is something that can happen on iRacing when you have frontal damage. But here we go, change for the lead. Chris Hansen going down the inside of Tom Edwards and taking that position.
Yeah, another brilliant move from Chris Hansen to put himself exactly where he needs to be to take not just the winning Class 2, but the overall round win. But behind him, Mike Hart may have, as if to respond immediately, Mike Hart is very keen to make progress. I'm not quite sure if that was a move or just making back up a move that he's lost earlier on.
Yeah, it was a move. It was a big move for 4th place. Because you can see that now Hansen is unbottled and could potentially pull away from the rest of the field. You've got to think he's got to get past Damien Wong cleanly and quickly. Edwards will try and keep retaking the lead here. That'll help Mike Hart in his hopes for a round victory here at Silverstone. But the game is quite simple now, folks. Hansen leads. If he stays there, he wins round 8 of this championship. And only Mike Hart can stop him now, but he's got to get himself up into that 1st place.
And here he goes, he's going for it into Brooklands, Andrew, and that's beautifully done from Mike Hart to take the 3rd place off of former race leader Damien Wong. Matt Hale having the very close attention of Ben Bennyworth behind as well.
Yeah, it was very good there from Mike Hart. I bet he's done that in real life as well over the years in his racing career. So he's up to 3rd place now. Can he set about pulling in the top 2? He's got 5.5 laps to do it. Time is on his side. Into Beckett's they go. The gap is 1.4 seconds between 1st and 3rd positions. Meanwhile, further behind is contact between Matt Hale, and that's a brilliant hold from Matt Hale. Bit of brake, bit of throttle, pulled the front end round. I don't think it was intentional from Ben Bennyworth. There was a gap underneath as both drivers checked up in response to Damien Wong having a little issue, and that's fair play from Ben Bennyworth to let Matt Hale hold on to that position. But what a piece of driving from the 333.
Yeah, but Matt Hale goes wide into Stowe. That almost looked like a sort of gallant no after you moment in a way, but gathers it back up. And opportunity for Kieran Fitzgerald maybe to start having a look at Hale there. But yeah, dramatic heart-in-the-mouth moment, no question.
Yeah, Fitzgerald having a really good night tonight. He's been having some rough luck in the public lobbies, and I feel he's paying on that one at the moment. I don't know what's going on with Season 3, but it seems quite rough and tumble out there, but he's driven precisely and well so far this evening. And he's at the moment being rewarded with another top 10. Back with our leaders, Chris Hansen ahead of Tom Edwards. Mike Hart is starting to creep in now. 1.37 seconds is the gap, so that's gone down by a tenth or so. You've got to think, Howard, what would you say, a second back from Edwards? What's the point at which he'll start picking up that slipstream?
To a certain extent, I think he's already got there. But yeah, I'd say a second, maybe 0.8. He's going to be starting to feel the benefit there in third place. And what will really help him is if Tom Edwards goes for another move, which I have to say he looks liable to do at pretty much any moment here.
Yeah, it's a tactical game, a race like this. Lap 6 out of 10. 4 more after this one. Two leaders quite happy to just pace each other through at the moment. Leave the work to Mike Hart in terms of can he cross that bridge. Here's a good battle over 11th place, 9th place, sorry. So David Whitehouse at the front of it. Chris Powell in the blue, black and red entry there. James Fremont, Steve Hicks just behind. On board with Fremont. To the hanger straight, can he get the shifts right? Whitehouse is going to go defensive down the hanger straight and leave it all up to those to go around the outside of him if they want this 9th place.
It's going to be an interesting one for Powell to hang around the outside of Stowe. He's going to cut back to the racing line and maybe have an overspeed to try and do something into Club. Yes, he is going to find the inside line. He's going to have to be very bold on the brakes. He is bold on the brakes. Still side by side though. Whitehouse is going to keep his foot in it, and that's going to give Fremont an opportunity as well, perhaps into the last corner. And yeah, nicely judged by Fremont.
Yeah,
but,
very well driven by all involved, I'd say, there as they head on to lap number 7. Respectful room being given by all the drivers. That is exactly what we want to see.
Oh, and Powell having a moment there, just going on to the grass / AstroTurf there. Is that going to give Steve Hicks, who's clearly nursing some kind of problem, an opportunity to buy in as they go into the loop? Yes, he is going to go down the inside, but based on what we've seen so far, Andrew, I would expect him to be under as much pressure as he's just applied by the end of this straight. In fact, before they've even got significantly up to speed on the straight, Powell is pulling alongside to make the move.
Just having a look at timing, very close at the front of the field, 0.5 of a second between Hansen and Edwards, 0.2 of a second now between Edwards and Hart. So Hart has closed in now on second place, and you could see visibly the slipstream effect in full force there as they go through Copse Corner. Maggots is next. Can Mike Hart set up a move here down into Stowe Corner? He's got that space ahead of Edwards. How do you think he'll try and use that for a bit of a dive bomb?
Yes, I do. I absolutely do, mate. This is going to be interesting here as they come on to the hang straight. Having said that, still plenty of time left for Hart to do this. Obviously, he does want to clear Edwards if possible and then make it a straight fight between him and his what we believe to be, if our maths is correct, the main rival for the round, in the form of Chris Hansen. And here he goes down the inside. That's a late move though, and there's contact and round for Tom Edwards, and that was not how to get it done for Mike Hart.
No, made the error there. I wonder whether there'll be any ramifications because of that. See, Edwards has dropped a long way back. Yeah, I've just had a little look at it on our 20-second replay monitor. It's just a little bit too far back for making that move. And it's very much a corner where you've got to get the intention and move done early. You've got to have the confidence in the driver on the outside that they know you're there, that they know you're coming down the inside, so that you don't meet at the apex of the corner like that. On board now with James Fremont in 10th place. That's David Whitehouse just ahead of us in 9th. I'm trying to remember which year it was that that the Renault was liveried like that. And of course, he got a quick sight of the Williams logo there. That was a team run by the same guys who had all of that Formula 1 success in the late 90s. That's how big the BTCC got during the middle of that Super Touring era.
Yeah, absolutely. Big era for British touring cars. I want to say it was before my time of following BTCC. I want to say 99 though.
Yeah.
Late 90s certainly.
2 laps after this one. Ben Bennyworth here in 5th place, Matt Hale 6th, and Kieran Fitzgerald just behind in 7th. And whoa, Fitzgerald having a little look there into Maggots, really hustling the back of that taxi. It's roles reversed. Normally the taxis are doing this to me round Coventry, but not tonight. Kieran Fitzgerald really going for it here. He's got a good run out of Chapel. We'll have an opportunity here. If he can just stay in the slipstream, can he get this move done for 6th place on Matt Hale? Matt Hale takes a slightly defensive line and actually defends it very, very nicely indeed. Doesn't compromise himself too much or lose time relative to Bennyworth.
That was perfect hovering there to just make Kieran feel that that gap you've got there, my friend, I might just close that. I'll let you know. Just the perfect hovering.
That's as much as I'm going to give you, said Mr. Hale in that situation. 2 laps to go then. They're on to the penultimate tour of this circuit. Last check it was 1.1. It's now down to 0.85 of a second between the 2 leaders. So Chris Hansen just seems at the moment to be able to hold that gap quite nicely.
Looking at the battle, Whitehouse, Fremont and Hicks still with them, but still it seems to us at least nursing a bit of a problem on the straights, because this is not the pace that we've come to expect from Steve Hicks. Well, generally speaking, to be honest, over the course of tonight, but just generally has the pace to be fighting a bit closer to the front than currently.
Yeah, but Hicks an almost ever presence this season. We'll hope that this goes down as a drop score. We are getting into that point of the season where we'll start talking about drop scores. There's a little problem there for Whitehouse on the entry to Brooklands. Just about got it all pulled together, but it has given the opportunity for Hicks to get down the inside of Fremont there. Can he take that 10th place? Well, he can initially, but here comes the power issue. Yeah, once again, just cannot have doesn't have the straight line speed. As was Fremont having a little look there at Whitehouse into Copse Corner. That was a brave overtake. Has Fitzgerald now got past Hale? No, he hasn't got past Matt Hale, and they're still side by side. Look at this, a little bit of door banging as they exit Beckett's and go through Chapel. This really has been proper to the wall touring car racing tonight at Silverstone. I've loved to see it. I hope you have as well at home. And we've still got another lap of it to go as the leaders will cross-start finish in a moment's time. James Fremont has got past David Whitehouse here. David Whitehouse is fighting back down the Hanger Straight, getting the run into Stowe Corner, and has taken back his 9th position.
Yeah, absolutely. But he's going to try and fight back here. Chris Powell having a look at Steve Hicks behind as well, but the corners are where Hicks is strong. He kind of has to be. That's the only place he can be strong in this race, it would seem. But yeah, I've got to say, mate, just to add to what you were just saying, one of the things I am loving about this championship this year, obviously we've got the mini championships going on within it, but just to have this different nature, you know, we get the classic touring car racing for these rounds. We get obviously the higher speeds of the GT cars as well, and we get our sort of classic configuration with the Mazdas as well. It's just great to have that variation across the calendar. As look at this, Damien Wong and Ben Bennyworth in their battle over 4th place on the last lap here. Last lap of the race, last lap of the night.
Yeah, it's been a good dark night for Damien Wong. And good to see. As I say, we are on the last lap of the race. The gap at the front of the field is 0.61 of a second. Here's Matt Horgan now trying to get past Matt Hale.
Deja vu.
Yeah, I was going to say, seems to be we might have remembered the phone number on the back of that car by the end of this evening. The leaders coming is the last sector, Howard, and Chris Hansen is going to have a bit of history here and going to be surely our first winner, or say surely, because here comes Mike Hart very, very quickly indeed down the back straight, and is he going to have a go into Vale?
I think he's just a bit too far back for it in Stowe, but you're absolutely right. Heading towards the Vale and Club section of the lap. It is going to have to be defensive from Hansen, but if you can just hold on to it, I think he's got it. But look at this, Mike Hart really hustling the back here. He's going to try and get a better exit out, but he's going to bounce over the curb, and surely that's going to compromise him off of Club. And it's going to be Chris Hansen who comes across the line to win race 3 of round 8 of the Club 100, of the Legends of Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship. Brilliant stuff right through to the end. It's going to be Tom Edwards in 3rd, Damien Wong in 4th, Ben Bennyworth, Kieran Fitzgerald, Matt Hale, and there's the customary stuff after the line as well. Matt Horgan, Chris Powell, Steve Hicks in the end manages to steal 10th. Look at this across the line, Andrew. This is well, this.
And his wheels off and everything right there on the line. What happened there? So Chris Powell got 9th place. Steve Hicks got 10th. James Fremont 11th. David Whitehouse 12th. So for the second round in a row, I think we'll be going back and having a look at a last lap incident involving Mr. Whitehouse. Let's just bring the others home as well. So Hansen from Hart, Edwards, Damien Wong, Bennyworth, Fitzgerald was your top 6 in that last race. Matt Hale, Matt Horgan 7th and 8th. Powell, Hicks, Fremont, Whitehouse took us to 12th. Alexandre Aloro finishes in 13th there. 14th for Joshua Wong, and then 15th will be Alan Curtis, who is still circulating out there as well. How's your launching into the barrier, boys? That's okay. That's okay. No flips and tricks tonight from those two. Right. Let's have a look though at that incident just at the end, Howard. And whilst I'm pulling up the replay, I mean, it seems a bit of a silly question. What have you thought of tonight's racing? But it's been brilliant. But try and sum up for me, what that's inspired in you for what we've seen this evening.
Do you know what? It's slightly rekindled a bit of an affection for these TCR cars. I've not raced them much recently, but it's been such a treat to watch them going wheel to wheel and on some occasions door to door. Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic, and yeah, I think I could be wrong. I think it's been the longest break in the calendar in terms of number of rounds since we last saw this car, and it's just given us a very good reminder of why they're so much fun, and really good respect, really good racing room and respect shown by the drivers tonight as well. I say to have it so that we're talking about brilliant battles rather than clumsy collisions. So yeah, let's take a look at the results of that final race. Chris Hansen then with your win by 0.6 over Mike Hart. Tom Edwards in the end some seconds back, having ironically, given how frenetic an evening he's had, coming home in a relatively quiet 3rd place there. Damien Wong and Ben Bennyworth battling to the last over 4th. Good battle as well between Kieran Fitzgerald and Matt Hale and Matt Horgan. Hale and Horgan carrying on their battle of the mats that they seem to have been doing pretty much all evening. Chris Powell in some good battles there as well with David Whitehouse. Alexander Aloro and Josh Wong as well in 11th and 12th. And actually, what happened to Steve Hicks there, that he's registered in 13th? That was all dramatic across the line, wasn't it? James Fremont in 14th, battling with Hicks a lot there. Alan Curtis, Craig Brown and Murray Adams, I'm sorry to say, Alan Curtis managed to keep up with that one. But yeah, difficult evenings for Craig Brown and Murray Adams, Andrew, obviously having a few problems, a few issues, not sure if they were connection related or what, but not great evening at the races for those two, unfortunately.
We've just seen behind your graphic what caused that conglomeration on the last corner. It's something I've never said before, and I probably never will again. But they tried to go 4 wide through Club.
Okay.
Which
okay.
You probably won't have been able to see at your end, but yes, that was quite an ending.
Yeah, I mean. We did miss some of the action on the cameras live, but in my defence, it was utter chaos absolutely everywhere.
Yes. We needed multiple streams to cover everything that was going on. Just before we wrap up this evening, a few things to let you know about in terms of what's coming up. Nothing this weekend. DDMM towers and offices across Warwickshire are closed for business this weekend. Because it's somebody's stag do. But next weekend, keep an eye out on the Instagram, especially at Double Dash from Thursday onwards, because we will be down at Silverstone for Formula Student. Really looking forward to Formula Student 2021. Massively missed the annual trip down to Silverstone for that reason last year, so it's great to have that back. Scrutineering days Thursday and Friday. Saturday we will be doing some commentary for the first day of the dynamic events, so we're talking your sprint event, your acceleration event, keeping an eye on skid pad as well. And then Sunday we'll have the stream back for the endurance event. We'll post all the links as to which particular channels that those will be hosted on, but they will most likely be hosted on the iMac Formula Student YouTube website and channel, and look out for coverage on the race as well, because that has been a place where we've streamed Formula Students in years gone by as well. Basically, I need to read up on what all the information is between now and next Thursday. Also on that Sunday, so that will be hang on, let me get my calendar out. That will be the 1st of August. We've got the next. No, it won't be. I'm talking completely.
It's the 25th.
It's the 25th because it's the 4th Sunday of a month, which means it's Wilton Mill Kart Club time. Howard will be there for the next round of that championship, so that'll be over on the Alpha Live YouTube channel. Let's move on to the following weekend. So this one is the weekend of the 31st of July and the 1st of August. Sunday's the big day again. Sunday the 1st of August we'll be at Wilton Mill for the next Super One Series stream. If you missed that one from Clay Pigeon a few weeks ago, do go across to the Alpha Live YouTube channel to check that out. And that brings us up to the 4th of August, which I've got on my calendar here, Howard, as the next round of this series, the 2021 Legends of Club 100 BUKC iRacing Championship. And because I'm a Piddington, I can't remember which track it is or which car we're doing, but it'll be great no matter what, and you'll be able to watch it all here on the DDMM YouTube channel.
It's going to be the GTs at Spa-Francorchamps, mate.
Thank you very much. So it'll be Spa, another circuit that we had last season. Will it go full Spa again? I kind of hope not, but at the same time, it was a great piece of content last year. But yeah, that pretty much is brings us up to... Yeah, we're going to stop there. There's plenty more stuff after that as we go into August proper. But that's what you've got to look forward to over the next few weeks before we're back here for more iRacing action. And if somehow I manage to squeeze it in besides another stag do and a wedding and a this and a that and the other, do keep an eye out for more of the Club 100 team endurance vlogs, particularly as we had a pretty good one on Saturday, didn't we, mate?
We did, mate. Yeah, bit of I'm still in a bit of shock, but really nice round for us at Rye House, and actually you segued brilliantly there into one thing I was going to mention. You're rightly looking forward to all the brilliant stuff that's coming up, but I implore people to look back a bit as well. Club 100 round 5 that was held on of the sprints on the Sunday. Apologies to people once again. There were a few technical difficulties we had with the stream of the lightweights that day. They are now being uploaded on the Club 100 YouTube channel, to be clear. So Alpha Live putting those all together, packaging them, and they are going on to Club 100. So if you did miss a bit of the lightweights action, and it was really good, again, the lightweights on Sunday, so do go and check that out, and also enjoy the heavyweights back again. They're also getting uploaded, so definitely check that out if you've got a hankering for more Club 100 stuff after tonight.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to wrap things up there. Thank you everybody for watching. If you have enjoyed the stream tonight, do make sure that you've subscribed here to the DDMM YouTube channel. Click that notification bell so you find out when we're going live or put new videos up, and give this stream a like and a share as well if you can. My name's been Andrew Mather, he's been Howard Mitchell. Together we've been Double Dash Motorsport Media. Thank you very much for watching. Congratulations to Chris Hansen on his first round victory of the season, and we'll see you in 3 weeks time for the next round of the 2021 Legends of Club 100 and BUKC iRacing Championship.